Morning, everybody. How you doing? Wisco Southpaw here. Uh, I've carried these two knives. If you don't remember, I've done a review of each of these. This is the off-grid Enforcer EDC. This is the Migron Pagos. And so what I thought I would do, since they both kind of came in the same package, is that I would do a comparison, kind of the two here. It's been a little bit since I've done those videos. I've carried them both a couple times. Well, more than that, probably. I'm sure more than that. I just want to give you my opinions on them. Once again, this is Wisco Southpaw. Something I haven't really done any of my videos so far is just said, hey, if you like this, if you get something out of this, like the video. If you think this is something that you would watch, an old guy, in a saturated market with plenty of knife reviewers, and I'm not a knife reviewer. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But if you like it, subscribe if you want. That would be greatly appreciated. What I'm going to focus on mostly in my videos is unboxings, comparisons kind of like this, different topics. Maybe there are some things that I've heard other knife reviewers. Like I said, I'm not one, but I've heard other people who do this kind of thing talk about lots of different topics. Some of them I have some opinions on. So I think I'll make some videos about that. And then there is some other content that I'm hoping we'll do this kind of fun. Try to use some satire in some of this stuff and enjoy it. So anyway, with that out of the way, here we go. So the first knife that I reviewed was the Off-Grid Enforcer EDC. I really like this knife. This is a 3.5 inch blade, and then we have the Migron Pagos. This is a 3.25 inch blade. So yeah, the EDC, the Enforcer EDC is a 3.5 inch. Let's see if we can get that. It doesn't look like it, does it? Maybe this is only 3.25 inch blade also. Let's get that right up. And actually, you know what? The cutting edge is about it's less than 3 1/4, 3 1/8 on the Pagos, and the cutting edge on the Enforcer EDC is about 3 1/4. Yeah, to the hilt, right? 3.5, and then this is advertised as 3.25. This actually looks like it's close to 3.5 as well. So side by side, get this out of the way. This is what they look like. And if you want to compare the blades, they're almost exactly the same. Now, there are some other differences. This knife, for instance, has a real grippy G10. So, I mean, if you're somebody who needs to have a good purchase in the knife, if you work in a wet environment, for instance, this would be a great knife to use. This is much smoother. You still get a good grip, but it's just smoother. I would say this is more of a, this just feels more like a gentleman's knife, right, compared to this one. This feels like more of a working knife right here. So again, 154 CM steel. And this feels more like a casual EDC knife. This is in 14C28N, PVD coated 14C28N. So, what else can I tell you? The lock bar, it's easier to close this knife, the Migron, than it is to close the Off-Grid Enforcer EDC. Now, I know I said, especially when I did the review of the Migron, I said I think I prefer this one to this one. I think I still do at this point, but it really depends on what you need to use it for. Once again, this is a tough knife. This is a sturdy knife. And there's some other things about the company in general that really have kind of made it obvious to me that I'm going to be buying. More of these. I love Migron. I love the way that they're constructed. But there are some things I just wish they do to accommodate. It's my name, Wisco Southpaw, to accommodate lefties. And we'll get into that in a second. I did want to show you real quick here. They look almost exactly the same. The Migron does feel thicker, when you have it in your hand. The Migron does feel thicker in the hand compared to the Enforcer EDC. The Enforcer feels like it might be a little more slim. Well, when you're carrying it in the pocket, you really can't tell that big of a difference. I think that as you can see, the Enforcer EDC is a little thicker than the Migron. But that kind of is what it is. Like I said, I really couldn't tell a difference between the two. Both are milled out nicely. And kind of like I said on the reviews, this is the one of the issues I have is it's hard to get a hold of the lock bar on the Enforcer EDC, where the Migron isn't as difficult. I don't know if there's, I mean, if you look at them side by side, this just has more of a slope cut into the scale, or the off-grid just doesn't. You can see that. So it's just a little easier to get to. Okay, so overall, still the Pagos. So I gotta close it with my left hand. Can't even get my thumb. So overall, I still prefer the Pagos. I do really like this knife. I find myself carrying this knife. I think I've carried this knife actually more than this one, just because I don't know. It does really feel good in the hand. But I would say the action is a little bit, what's the word? The action is just a little bit, doesn't feel like you have much control, where this feels much more, the action is just, the action feels a little better on the Migron. But I will say this, I'm going to buy more off-grids. They're well made. They're tough knives, right? They're like utility knives. Not that Migron isn't, but these just feel like they're built for that particular purpose. You know what I mean? And the other reason is because every single one of their knives that I have seen has a spot for left-handed carry. And that, that makes a difference. Now, I don't always buy knives that, I'm going to be doing an unboxing here of a knife that doesn't have this, but I really wanted a knife, so I bought it. Just got to be kind of careful how you carry, and that's one of the topics I wanted to talk about at some point is what's the problem with carrying a right-handed knife left-handed. And I've heard other people talk about why you should, why you shouldn't. Actually, most of them why you shouldn't. But I think there's a way to do it that's relatively safe. And it's just remembering what you're doing, remembering the knife you're carrying. And anyway, that's something else I'll get into in a different video. But every single one of their knives set up for left-handed carry. I love, 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 love Migron. I really do. I love my Valona. I love this. The Mojarl is on my radar. Soon. I can't buy the crossbar lock version though, because that one does not come with a reversible clip. So, and they make a Mojarl, the lock bar version they make that does have that. So I will buy that one. There are some other knives that are more expensive that I really want to buy, but and even some of the AM8 stuff, right? But I can't. Not that I can't. I might, but I'm much more hesitant to buy it because there's no spot for us poor lefties. So anyway, that is it. That's the kind of the comparison of the two. I really like both of them. They're actually, other than the height of the knife, right? Other than the height, they're very similar. They're very similar. No back flipper here. Definitely the only way to deploy this one is with a flipper, which I guess is another slight downside, especially if you like to fidget with knives. I do. So having something like this where there's a couple different deployment methods, you have the front flipper, and then you have the thumb studs. That's awesome. That's a plus. I do have some knives, and I'm sure you guys too, and I'll do too, and I'll be talking about them a little bit. Are the ones that are super fidgety, and there are a lot of those knives. So that'll also probably be a topic of discussion at some point. Knives that I think are done well from a fidget standpoint. So I think that's it, guys. Until next time. Like I said, if you get something out of these videos, like it, I would appreciate it. Subscribe would also be appreciated. But thank you so much for the time. Have a great day, guys.